Okay, so important to understand when we look at a symmetrical distribution, what are the properties and characteristics of it? So we've got three terms here: mean, median, mode. Mode you will find at the peak of the graph, always, no matter what. It is the most common. So the graph represents a distribution of data with the height of the graph representing how common that is. And the most common is the peak of your graph. That's the most is at that value. So, or that type of data. So let's talk about the median. So a median is the location on the data where 50% is below that value, and that's the value, and 50% is above the data. So it's the one specifically directly in the middle of the data. If I rank my data from either largest to smallest or smallest to largest, the one dead center is the median. The mean is when we take all the data values, add them together, and divide by how many values we have. So the mean and the median and the mode are all values of what's called average. So let's review that. Mode, most common. Median, the one exactly in the middle. The mean, the arithmetic average. And all of those values are exactly at the same location when my distribution is symmetric. Okay, so now we're going to talk about a skew set of data, or a skew distribution. So I'm going to talk about a positive skew to begin with, and that is this one here. So I'm going to zoom in on this distribution, and let's talk about its situation and see a real-world example of this. So in my most common value, because that's why it's at the peak, is the mode. So that's the most frequent. Median is the value that separates the top half from the bottom half, so 50% below the median, 50% above the median. And then my mean is what we refer to as my arithmetic average. So in this situation, we have a positive skew, or a skew to the right. And basically, the best way to visualize a skew to the right is to find your mode, and you realize that there's more than half of the data to the right of that mode. So things are being slid to the right. So the mode is the most common, the median is the halfway point, and the mean is the arithmetic average. So an example of this, according to the Federal Reserve data, in 2020, the median income for a single earner in America is $35,860. And that is the median. So if you make that, that means that exactly half the people make more money than you, and exactly half the people make less than you. But if I take everyone's pay and add it together and divide by my total amount of people, we actually end up with a mean pay of $54,040. So this is almost $20,000 higher. So that's really important. And my mode, the most common pay, is actually going to be lower than $35,000. So what happens is we have a few people that are so far to the right that they make, and that's the positive direction, which means they're making so much more money that they have a disproportional effect on the mean. So we have to be careful when we talk about average income of America. Is it fair to use the mode, the median, or the mean when they give us very, very different numbers? That is what we're going to talk about in more detail.